Dead-end alley. God became rain and showered upon the thirsty city. The sky sparkled. The city heard the voice of the sky. The men on the sidewalk looked at the sky's voice in wonder. One man pulled up his coat collar and escaped from the piercing raindrops to the warmth of his home. A woman pulled her black chador over her face and slammed the door latch firmly. The door quickly opened and swallowed the woman inside. The street was scared of the rain and the angry sound of the clouds pounding on people's ears. The man turned his face to the sky and opened his thirsty mouth to the rain. The drops became needles on the man's feverish face. The angry and rebellious wind tore the dry leaves and torn papers from the ground and slammed them against the walls. The walls became windows for an older adult to look at the street. A curtain opened the window's eye to the rain. The man saw the sidewalk fleeing from under his feet. The tall and high girl let the wind play with her hood as it pleased. She counted her steps. She did not raise her head. The man's eyes fixed on the ground passed by the girl calmly, soft and slow. He looked at the girl's black shoes, which were leaving marks on the wet sidewalk. If only I could see your eyes the way I want to, the way I want. The girl stared at him, thinking it was the way he wanted. When you look at me, I don't see your eyes, the man said. I wish you could know how much I love you. The girl turned and saw the man's face and his words. The sky's voice interrupted their conversation. The girl said louder than the sky, I know, I told you I loved you. Didn't I say it? The man had asked, I never understood what you thought of me. The girl said, I love you very much. She had said it so simply, as if she were running her hand through a little boy's hair. So simple that the man could not believe it. The girl's words had warmed the man. The man wanted the woman's eyes, a strange darkness in which he would go deeper and deeper the more he delved into it. He had said wildly, I'm willing to give up one of my eyes to see your eyes the way I want. The girl had laughed, but I love you with your eyes, with both of them. The man had never been afraid of anything, not even death. Wasn't he looking for death for years? But the girl's eyes had scared him. He was worried that if he stared into the girl's eyes once, he would never be able to take his eyes off her. He was scared of love. Under his breath he said love. He was afraid that if he fell in love with her eyes, he would no longer be able to see them, the girl would leave, and her eyes would no longer be there. Love frightened him. If you had always lost everything in your life, you would have had the same fear. He had always lost whatever he wanted. He was afraid. Under his breath he said love and told the mirror, you are in love, and he saw his words in the mirror. The girl had looked in the mirror at night and seen nothing. She had wanted to see her eyes through the man's gaze but couldn't. The eyes were the same as always. They had let the rain do whatever it wanted with them. The rain became heavy. The man felt like running. The girl also quickened her pace. She said, let's run under the rain. The man said no. The girl strolled. Aren't you upset that I'm opposing you? The girl said no. The man said, aren't you upset I'm saying something against your will? The girl said no. He said, weren't you upset when I said I wouldn't run? She said no. The man said, are you wet? The girl said, it's good. A man looked at them bitterly, and hurriedly entered a house with a burnt brown door. A woman wiped the steam behind the glass with her finger and stared at the street. The man said, I'm afraid. The girl said nothing. He said, I hate the street. He said, people drag the streets into the mud. I only like the street at night. He liked the street at night and the city's river, which everyone took pictures of during the day. I think during the day, the river is like promiscuous women. I don't like that so many people look at it. The man turned into the narrow alley. The girl came along with him. The alley was kind and narrow. The man walked shoulder to shoulder with the girl. He pulled himself away a little. He was talking to the ground of the alley. He said, I'm afraid it will all end. The girl said, why are you afraid? Don't you love me? The man said, I love you, that's what I'm afraid of. The girl said, why are you afraid? We are not doing anything wrong. We talk to each other and love each other. Why should we be afraid? Should they be afraid? It doesn't matter whether they do anything. What matters is that in this city, they have no right to love each other unless a heavy rain has come, no one is on the street, and people have drawn the curtains of their houses. They continued the alley until they reached the covered passage. It was dark and long. No one except the older adult and her key-making boy were left in the passage. 8 years ago, the last resident there, after crying for 2 years over the death of his wife, sold the old house and went to an apartment on the other side of the city river, somewhere near Takti Foulad. Every Friday, he could visit the stone on which his wife's name was written. The brown wooden door creaked on its old hinges. The man pushed the door. It opened. A long, dark and covered alley was before their eyes. The girl said, "My eyes can't see." Her eyes. The man said, "You don't like it here." The girl said, "Why are you asking?" "I like wherever you are." The girl said, "It's very dark." When we reach the end of the passage, some light shines from the door of that house, enough to see something. The girl saw a faint light at the end of the alley. Shoulders rubbed together, warmth. The man pulled himself away. The girl put her eye to the hole through which a faded light shone, and saw the house courtyard where wild grass had grown between the courtyard bricks. The pool was dry, and a crow's caw could be heard. The man said, "The sound of a crow's caw in the mornings reminds me of death. Whenever the night ends, I think of death." The girl sat on the ground, so that a faint light fell on her face through the hole in the door. The man could see her eyes. The girl said, "There must be an old woman living in this house whose grandchildren come to visit her on Fridays." The man said, "No one lives here." 8 years ago, the old man who lived here went to his son's apartment on the other side of the river, near Takti Foulad, 2 years after his wife's death. The girl said, "So no one comes here?" The man said, "No, no one comes here." The girl said, "How nice. Can we stay here for as long as we want?" The man said, "We can stay here as long as we want. Let's not talk." The sound of a crow's caw came. The man looked into the girl's eyes, still shining under the faded light, the way he wanted. The girl involuntarily closed her eyes. The man said, "Why?" The girl laughed. She said, "I looked into my eyes in the mirror and saw nothing in them." The man said, "That's why no one falls in love with themselves." The man looked at the fingers of the girl's hands, which were long, fragile and delicate. He wanted her hands. His hands were drawn to the girl. He did not allow his hands. The man said, "What would you do if I wanted to take your hands in mine?" The girl said, "I would take your hands in mine." The man said, "What would you do if I wanted to put your fingers on my face and kiss them?" The girl said, "I would do nothing." The man said, "What would you do if I wanted to put your head on my chest and feel your warmth?" The girl said, "I would do nothing, maybe I would like it." The girl said, "How many questions do you ask? Why are you bothering me? I love you." The man said, "You're wet, don't get cold." She said, "No, I like the chill of the rain." The man wanted to take the girl's hands in his. He wanted to put her head on his chest. He wanted to feel her skin. He wanted to look into her eyes. He wanted to run his fingers through the girl's hair, but the wrinkles on his hand and the vitality in the girl's eyes stopped him. He said, "I want you to be for yourself, free and comfortable. I want you to go wherever you want, with whomever you like. I don't want you to do anything for me. I want to wait for you when you go on a trip, and think of you and suffer from your absence. I don't want you to feel like I want you to belong to me." The girl said, "Why don't you want me to be yours?" The man looked at her. The girl said, "Why don't you want me to belong to you?" The man looked at her. The girl said, "Why don't you take my hands and kiss and hug me?" The man looked at her. He was afraid. He heard the girl's words several times. What should he say? He said, "If you are mine, I will ask you, where were you? What were you doing? I will ask questions and you have to answer them. Asking them is bad. I don't want you not to be free." The girl said, "I would like you to ask me questions. Even if you don't ask, I will tell you where and what I was doing. Please ask me questions. Why can't I be yours?" The man said, "It's getting late for you, let's go." The girl said, "I don't want to go." It's nice here, my eyes have just gotten used to it. I'm just starting to see you. The man said, we have to go, your mother will worry, won't she worry? The girl said, I will tell her I was with you. And she laughed. The man said, let's go. The man said nothing. The girl searched for the man in the dark and took his hands. The man wanted to let go of his hands and couldn't. The girl's hands wrapped around the man's waist. The man said, we have to go. The girl said, are you afraid to kiss me? The man said, I can't, I'm afraid, I won't be able to see you again, do you understand? The man opened the door. He heard the girl's voice following him. The man said, I'll go first, you come after a minute or two. It's better if we are not seen together. The girl said, can't we go together? The man said, we can't. Not where we are. The light of the alley splashed into the man's eyes, and the smell of rain filled his lungs. The girl had said, are you afraid to kiss me? The man closed his eyes. He was afraid. No, it's not possible. Because you will leave and I won't see you again. When the man reached the street, he waited a few minutes for the girl to come out of the alley, pass by him, and he could look at the girl's shoes.